page here. This is the entry page. Here what we want to do is start a new restoration. And you have the option of a mouth scan or a model scan. Here, because we're scanning a model, we'll select model scan. This is a crown on number 19. And you can, depending on the situation, if you want to do a pre-op scan, you can use the pre-prepared tooth as a guide for the final restoration. But here we'll just go with one of the libraries.
Why would you need to define whether it's a mouth scan or a model scan?
Yeah, there must be something in the software that the software needs to know if it's a stone model or an intraoral scan. But I don't know the details on that. So you set up your information here, and this is the obviously the preparation scan. You can toggle here between pre-op scan, preparation scan, and bite registration scan. And they require a sequence of minimally nine scans. You activate the foot pedal to turn the image on, and the first scan is of the occlusal, and this is the sequence of scans that E4D recommends. So mid-occlusal, distal occlusal, mesial occlusal. And they have us toggle over to the lingual, mid-lingual.
That's cool the way it just keeps on adding to the model.
And everything's cool as long as they stay green, correct?
Right.
Okay.
These green tabs here indicate that you know, the alignment was satisfactory. The software believes it's a good image. I'll show you what happens if it's way off. You'll either get a yellow image or a red image. If it's a red image, the software will throw away that information from that scan.
Oh, it will?
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's red, it'll automatically throw it out. If it's yellow, it'll keep it. Yellow just indicates that maybe you didn't get enough information from that scan, so maybe the alignment was not correct. Or
it sounds like to me that if I got a yellow scan, I'd chunk it.
I would too. You know, I'd like to get all the data that I can. So after 9 scans, automatically it'll start calculating whether there are any low density points. If there are any low density points, you'll see an area in blue. So it'll be this color. So out here we didn't take any images. You know, down underneath the heights of contour, it's going to be lack of data because that image was not captured. But if you see any of these blue areas on your preparation, especially critical areas like around the finish line, then you want to go back and re-image those areas. So you can just add to your sequence of scans.
And do you have to do the scans in a particular order?
You know, the company recommends the order that I demonstrated, so I don't know how significant it would be if you don't go through that.
Like if you had them all and didn't do them in the same order, it would still probably try to piece it together.
Yeah, it would still piece it together. I don't know how significant the order is, but that's what they train.
And the order with syrup is important because we don't want to disturb the powder. And that's really the important part, not really the line, but not the distal.
Yeah. Why don't I just demonstrate? Let's say you were way off, you know. Let me see if I can get a red scan in here. So what I'm going to do is just lift this up off the model, and it'll probably be a red scan. Oh, it's yellow. Yellow indicating that, again, it didn't really capture all the data that it needs. If I want to toss this, I just click on this symbol here. It'll throw out that information. So you don't have to restart anything.
Are those yellow stabilizers really necessary?
See, there's a red scan. It'll automatically throw that out. The yellow feet are necessary. Company advocates different heights for different scans.
Okay.
So the yellow are a certain dimension, and they recommend you use those.
That's
those
pretty
feet.
big.
Sometimes access is hard in the posterior, but you know, I've never had a situation where I couldn't scan, but you know, our experience is relatively limited.
Okay.
You need to do more third molars. I think it would be awesome.
So this is, at this point, if there were any extraneous material, say the tongue was imaged, it'll, you know, show up in this area. If there's any need to trim any items that are movable, like the cheek, the tongue, cut and retraction, you would just trim out those areas. But here, really, there's nothing to trim out. But anyway, you go through that step, you trim away any extra material. And at this, you can actually switch between this virtual model and what they call the ice view. And I'm not sure how the ice view looks on the model. It may not be very impressive, but intraorally it's a little bit nicer because you can actually see your DEJ, for example. You can see the soft tissue. It's almost like it's a black and white photo. And I can show you some clinical examples too on some other cases. So the next, what we do is mark the margin. Before you do that, you can set the path of insertion, so you can just change the angulation here. The pink indicates areas of undercut. So what you want to do is obviously not like that. What you want to do is have a nice path of insertion here. And at this point, we can select the identify the margin. You can do it in several ways. You can paint it.
Well, how exact is that, though?
Well, I guess it depends on the user. Garbage in, garbage out, but
Absolutely.
you know, here you obviously have to correct some areas. So some people like to paint. The lasso works better in my hands.
That's interesting. There's a bunch of tools to figure out
you
how
can.
to...
So I think this is more similar to Sarah.
Right.
No? How do you like Kava's margination?
I'm not familiar with it. Yeah, I never used it. If you
So-
need to touch up some areas, you can remark those areas, or you could simply move the margin wherever you feel it needs to be moved. And you can change the zone of influence if you just want to move a little area. But anyway, you can spend however long you want to spend marking the margin.
You know what, that'd be nice if Sarah had a couple of these little tools in it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's pretend we're satisfied, we're all right with that margin. We'll go through its automatic autogenesis feature here.
I think you're exactly right, though. I think you can look at...
If we had a byte registration, we would have scanned that earlier on. And probably the nicest feature of the software is are the tools here that are used for modifying the restoration. And the tool that tends to work very nicely is this rubber tooth tool, where you can actually just do whatever you want to do with the restoration.
That is sweet.
And you know, plus it has all your other tools to move the restoration around, move different features. You can actually
That's way better.
you can paint a feature. Let's say you just want to move the grooves. You can define that that feature. Whoops. Or if you just want to move a certain area, just paint that feature. You can just rubber tooth that area, so that's the only area of influence, which comes in handy, you know.
It's a neat feature. To me, it's very user-driven.
You can turn off the adjacent
It's the
teeth.
easiest way for me to make a fast adjustment. That's what
You
it is.
can
It's not, it doesn't mean starkly, but it just means...
you can check the restoration thickness.
I need a mold.
Okay, with the color guide here,
Mold and something.
you can check
Well, I don't know.
proximal contacts, the
Show me
strengths of the proximal contacts.